So in this video I want to talk about actually writing the scripts. In the comic book industry, there is no standard guideline for how to write a script. Unlike in the film and TV industries, where I think it's the Writers Guild has this pretty thorough book for exactly how you format a screenplay. In the comic book industry, there's basically two different ways to write a script. One is very loose and informal. It's kind of like an outline of the whole book and of each individual page. And the other way is more like a film screenplay, which basically has everything in it. So here is what I took. You can go to the Dark Horse website and they have this template, and I got this a long time ago, but again I've adjusted it, modified it a little bit to what I think is a little bit better. So the main point is just to make it clear and concise to the artist and like the letterer or the colorist. Everybody knows exactly what your idea is, can see it clearly on the paper. Now, whenever I work with an artist, I always tell them, okay, this is my idea, but if you have something better, if you come up with a better idea, then just let me know and we can, work together to try to make it better. All I care about is that the book is the best that it can be. So it's not necessarily that you have to do it exactly to the letter as I've written it in the script. As long as you just don't go way off script, then it should be okay. So you see, it's just have the page, the number of panels at the top. You can see it right away, so everybody can see it, how many panels are on the page. Each panel is clearly delineated, and then we get down to some dialogue. Let's see here, this is a little bit different than a film screenplay. Usually here, like the character's name would be here just over the dialogue, but this is how they had it in the Dark Horse template, and I think it's pretty good because it saves a little space, so you can try to keep it to one page of your script equals one page on the in a comic, so you're only taking up one page for each page. Usually you can do that. Sometimes you have to go into a little bit longer explanation. See, like this panel, there's a pretty long explanation about what's going on, so it may take more than one page to describe the entire page. And also, just as a note, this sample script, not this one, this is the Dinosauria, which is now Neotheric script that I have. It's on my Patreon page. If you want to use that as a template, I have that there, if you would be so kind as to be a patron. But this is how I like to write. I'm very detailed. I used to do a lot of short films and things, and I was a videographer, so I did like cinematography and the things. So I had to deal with the lighting, the exact shots, and so I had to do a lot of the details, and I would do storyboards. So on like this first project, the 6/8, I actually sketched out the entire thing myself. So we see, like here, this is page 4, and you can see, and the finished book. Go to page 4. Oh no, wait. Why did I say page 4? Let me see. Where am I? lost. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's not actually page 4, it's page 5. So you see on here, this is how I sketched it out, and this is the final page that the artist did. So what I did with this project and some of the earlier projects, I sketched out the entire thing, and in my really crappy art, because I didn't have the capacity to really just imagine everything and then write it down from my imagination. I had to sketch it out first. So I would sketch it out first, then write the script. And when I got to work with the artist, I actually put these together as a PDF and sent it to him so he could see like what I had in mind. Now I've stopped doing this. I think it's really like a waste of time, and I've gotten better at understanding how to, or just being able to visualize everything in my head without having to sketch it out. And again, like I said in the last video, I'm just being more trusting of the artist to get down what it is that I had in mind, and collaborating together, so if they have a better idea, we can go with it. There's two things for me learning how to write a script for a comic book that are the most important things. Number one is the page turn. This in comics means that basically, like, I think Brian Michael Bendis mentioned this in the book that he wrote. It's basically every page is a cliffhanger, so you need to write it in a way so that once they get down here to this last panel, you're leaving something for them to want to turn to the next page. And it's a little this is one of the things that's kind of difficult to master in a comic book, is how to get every single page like this, so that you've got people, the readers, kind of like on the edge, like, okay, I need to turn this page, and exactly which moment should be before the page turn and which should be after the page turn. So like here in the first page, we come into this situation, we don't see this cop's face yet, so the page turn, and what I was thinking is to see the cop in the next page. So in this page turn is to see obviously what they're talking about, and then boom, you got this splash page. Here you come down here, this guy's, what's going on, she's looking at whatever it is that he's looking at, so boom, you have your page turn. So every single page is like a cliffhanger, and this is a little bit hard to do, but this is one of the great things about comics, is this makes it such a unique format. The other thing, to me, this is like my theory about writing comics, is that I think that the less dialogue, the less like captions and text is better, because I think that the more text you have, the faster people will run through the text to read it and will not pay so much attention to the visuals. So for example, in this one, there's no text at all here, and I kind of went back and forth with this about maybe I should have them saying something, maybe there should be captions in here, but when it came down to it, I just wanted you to kind of like linger on each panel, look at these people, and try to build the atmosphere. and get a sense of this kind of like dread and for the situation. If I would have had text and things people hear saying stuff, then just read through it and blow through it and not really appreciate the art. So even as a writer, I'm trying to think of ways to accentuate the art and have people pay more attention to the art, because you know there's a lot of people like what's his name, Alan Moore he's very wordy, very verbose, his comics. So you just sit there, it's like reading a novel. And obviously he's very successful, but to me, I just don't like that. I don't think it fits the comic book medium. So this is why, I mean, it's a conscious choice to not have a lot of dialogue. And in the Ashcan anthology books, there's I think a couple of them are completely silent, mostly silent, and it's just, you just concentrate on the visuals. Like I said, to me, if you put a lot of text in here, then that's all they're going to do is just read the text, go to the next one, jump to the next one. It makes people blow through the page, and I don't want that. I want you to kind of linger on it. So for writing the scripts, it's pretty simple, pretty basic. The thing I like to concentrate on is that whenever you have the description of the panel and you're talking about the character, I think it's important to talk about what kind of expression are they supposed to have. Because if you send this to an artist and they have to draw this, so what is their expression supposed to be in every single panel? Are you just drawing them blank face? Or if you don't describe it in the script, what is the artist supposed to do? And I've seen, I've read some scripts, a lot of scripts, and people don't put that in there. Here is, let me see if I can find it really quickly. There's a website called Comics Tribe. Here it is. And they don't do this anymore, but this website, they used to have this thing called the Proving Grounds, and people would submit their script. I don't know why this is taking so long to load. Okay, here it is. So the Proving Ground, and I had sent my Fat Girl script into here, and the guy just ripped it apart. Rightfully so. It was I made a lot of mistakes, but you see, it's almost 300 of these. So this is a good thing to go in here, and you could see how people wrote their scripts, what mistakes they made, and how to avoid those same mistakes. This is a good resource for learning how to write scripts. So if you ever want to check that out, I think it's a good thing. Yeah, so I may make another video about writing scripts specifically for comics, but for now I think this is a basic overview. So that's about it. Thanks.